Welcome back to Mechanical Eagle Recaps.
Boys, no one forced you to take that money.
Today I'm going to show you an action thriller film from 2018 titled The Commuter.
Whatever you think you're doing, you know it's good for you, let it go.
Spoilers ahead, watch out and enjoy. The story begins with our main character, Michael, who is married to a woman named Karen and has a bright son named Danny. For the past 10 years, Michael has worked as a successful insurance salesman. But before landing this job, he serves as a police officer for 7 years, and the reason behind his departure from the force is still a mystery. On this specific day, like any other, his wife drives him to the train station for his usual commute to work. Over the past 10 years of commuting, he's grown familiar with most of the passengers on his regular train, and a few have even become friends, like Walt. However, upon arriving at work, his pleasant day suddenly takes an unexpected turn. He gets called into his boss's office, and for some unclear reason, Michael is let go from his job. Even after explaining that he needs the job to pay for their house and support his son, who's about to start college, his boss still has no choice but to let him go. 10 years of his life now feel wasted, especially with 5 more years to go before retirement, and being close to 60, finding a new job will surely be a challenge. To make matters worse, Michael and his wife haven't saved any emergency funds or built up any savings. They also need money to support their son's education. To lift his spirits, Michael decides to stop by a bar and have a beer. There, he reunites with his old friend and former police partner, Alex Murphy, with whom he served for 7 years. As they talk, a news report plays on the television about a city planner who supposedly committed suicide by jumping off a building. Michael confesses that he still hasn't told his wife about losing his job. Michael also runs into his former department colleague, Dave Hawthorne, who has since been promoted to captain. A little while later, Michael heads to the train station to go home. As he boards, he accidentally bumps into a man and later realizes that the man has stolen his phone from his pocket. Unfortunately, the doors suddenly close, preventing him from retrieving his phone. With no other options, Michael decides to just sit down and wait to get home. Out of nowhere, a woman named Joanna approaches and sits next to Michael to start a conversation. She tells Michael that she works as a psychologist. After sharing some stories about her job, Joanna invites Michael to participate in a challenge. The prize is $100,000, and he has to find a person named Prin somewhere on the train before it reaches Cold Spring Station. Joanna mentions that $25,000 is waiting in the bathroom as an upfront payment. There's only one strict rule: he must not tell anyone about the challenge. She also says she believes Michael can handle it since he used to be a police officer, which surprises Michael because he wonders how she knows. Joanna gets off at the first station, leaving Michael feeling confused. He goes to the bathroom and truly discovers the $25,000 hidden there, proving that Joanna's words are real. Due to his severe financial difficulties, Michael chooses to take the money. He has no plans to look for Prin and intends to get off at the upcoming station. However, as the train comes to a stop and Michael prepares to get off, a young girl approaches him and hands him an envelope, warning that he needs to keep going with what he has begun. Inside the envelope is his wife's wedding ring. It suddenly hits him that his family is in danger, and Joanna is pressuring him to find Prin. Michael borrows the phone of a passenger he knows, Tony, to try to call his wife, but he can't get through. He also tries calling Murphy, but faces the same problem, so he ends up leaving a voicemail explaining his situation. After that, he approaches Walt and asks to borrow his newspaper so he can quietly write down the situation. He requests Walt to call the police and report the situation once they arrive at the next station. Walt receives the message and gets off at the next stop. Suddenly, Joanna calls and accuses him of breaking the rules by revealing the challenge to Walt. She tells him to look out the window, where he sees Walt about to cross the street, but unfortunately, someone suddenly pushes him, causing him to be hit by a bus. Joanna warns him that this is the consequence if he attempts to run away from the challenge. She instructs him to locate the person named Prin and attach a tracker to their bag. Eventually, Michael starts following her instructions, beginning with closely inspecting each passenger's ticket on the train. If the ticket is punched at number 7, it means the passenger is going to Cold Spring Station. After thoroughly checking each train car, Michael narrows his search down to 6 people, all bound for Cold Spring Station, and none of them looks familiar. There is a man in red, an empty seat, a female nurse, an African-American man, a blonde woman, and a male broker. Michael initially approaches the broker, but the broker acts arrogantly and even calls him a broke old man. Irritated, Michael gives him a quick middle finger before walking away. Next, Michael goes up to the blonde woman, but for some unknown reason, she seems to avoid him and quickly walks away. He follows her, but accidentally drops a bag that turns out to contain fake IDs belonging to her boyfriend, used for scamming. The woman asks if Michael is a cop, and he says no. He apologizes and tells her that if her boyfriend really loves her, he wouldn't make her do those things. After some time, Michael thinks of an idea and informs the conductor about the suspicious nurse, requesting him to inspect her bag. While the nurse refuses to have her bag inspected, a man named Dylan sits in the empty seat with a ticket marked number 7. Michael notices Dylan looks alarmed by the conductor's actions and decides to leave with his bag while on the phone. Michael follows him, but Dylan suddenly attacks him in the next train car because he is being followed. When Michael mentions the name Prin, Dylan grows suspicious, and their fight goes on until Michael allows Dylan to win so he can plant the tracker on his bag. Michael goes back to his seat, thinking he has already completed the task. Not long after, he gets a call from Murphy, who informs him that the police have been sent to protect his family. Michael then tells Murphy about Prin, the money, and the threat made against his family. Murphy explains that the witness, using the name Prin, is believed to have seen the murder of a city planner. That's when Michael realizes that Prin is actually being targeted and that he has been set up. Meanwhile, 2 agents are spotted waiting at Cold Spring Station, noting that the train is still 20 minutes away. Michael makes another attempt to find Dylan, but only comes across his bag, where he finds an empty holster. He then hears a phone ringing, which leads him to Dylan's lifeless body, revealing that he has been an FBI agent all along. Michael picks up the call from Joanna, who tells him that Dylan's death is his fault for placing the tracker on the wrong person. The train halts for an investigation after some passengers report Michael's strange behavior to the police. Michael hides next to Dylan's body but gets trapped inside when a police officer accidentally steps on the lock. He gets off the train when it starts moving again, then quickly runs back to get on. His bag gets stuck, and when he tries to pull it free, all the money scatters except for a few $100s. Michael comes up with an idea to make finding Prin easier by disabling the air conditioners in every car except the last one, forcing all the passengers to gather there. Michael views the 5 passengers as possible candidates for Prin since he hasn't seen them on the train before.
And you.
After wrongly assuming that the man playing cards with Tony is Prin, Michael follows an African-American man named Oliver into an empty car. But Oliver isn't Prin, and instead, he is the assassin working for Joanna and responsible for Dylan's death. Oliver tries to finish Michael off by pushing him outside, but Michael gains the advantage and stabs him in the neck before throwing him out the window, where he is struck by a passing train. After picking up the gun, Michael returns and suspects the nurse since she is the only remaining potential Prin after the broker got off at the current station. Michael sits down and tries to talk to her by asking why she is heading to Cold Spring, but she ignores him and decides to leave after Michael asks what is inside her bag. Michael stops her and warns that her life is in danger, but the nurse still insists on leaving, so Michael pulls out the gun. He asks for the nurse's phone, thinking she is contacting Joanna, but she explains she is talking to her boyfriend. When Michael realizes she is telling the truth, he quickly apologizes. As they approach Cold Spring, Michael slowly realizes that Prin isn't among the people he has suspected. He recalls a female passenger who had moved seats due to an annoying seatmate. Her name is Sophia, and she has no idea what is going on since she is listening to a Taylor Swift song on her headphones. The name Prin comes from the book she is reading, which features a main character named Hester Prin. Michael finds out that Sophia witnessed the murder and has to testify to the 2 agents waiting at Cold Spring Station. Joanna calls and tells Michael to eliminate Prin so he can reunite with his family, but Michael refuses. Because he declines, Joanna warns him that now all of them are marked for death. Michael quickly tells the conductor to stop the train, but unexpectedly, it triggers an explosion. The train then speeds up, passing Cold Spring Station, and they are unable to stop it since the driver died in the blast. As the train nears the crash, Michael and the conductor try to separate their carriage from the rest of the train. With the conductor's assistance, Michael manages to detach it, but the carriage remains connected by a chain. The conductor helps him free it, but the train crashes with the conductor still inside, while Michael jumps off and survives thanks to a passenger's help. After their carriage stops moving, Michael warns the passengers to stay inside the train since they aren't fully safe yet. He tells everyone to take newspapers and wet them to stick over the windows as covers. Once things settle down, Michael asks Sophia what she has that the villains want. She reveals a flash drive containing information from the city planner, who is also her friend. Sophia explains that she can't report it to the police because the killers are actually police officers. She adds that she overhears one of them saying, "Doing the right thing will get you killed, and there's no such thing as being noble." Soon after, the police arrive, thinking Michael has taken the passengers hostage. His former colleague Hawthorne speaks to him and mentions that his friend Murphy is on the way to reach out. Michael talks to Murphy, who requests that he release a few hostages and take him instead. Michael agrees to the deal, helps with freeing the passengers, and allows Murphy to come inside. Michael questions Murphy about what he knows regarding Prin's case, but Murphy simply tells him, "There's no such thing as noble." That's when Michael realizes it is the same line Sophia heard from the cops involved in the murder. Murphy initially denies everything, but eventually admits that he is the one who sets Michael up, knowing he is desperate for money. Murphy advises Michael to surrender if he still wants to see his family. Michael hands over the gun, and Murphy begins searching for Prin among the remaining passengers. He orders Michael to point out who Prin is, but Michael refuses. As Sophia tries to reveal herself as Prin, the other passengers also start claiming to be the real Prin to throw Murphy off.
"I'm Prin, and I know what you did, you bastard."
Outside, the snipers wait for the perfect moment to take a clear shot at Michael. Michael successfully grabs Murphy's tracking device and deceives the police. As soon as Murphy pulls out his gun, Hawthorne gives the sniper the go-ahead, leading to Murphy's death. The SWAT team quickly enters, and Agent Garcia informs Michael that his family is safe after they arrest several men spying on their home. Sophia met with the FBI agents and provided her testimony. Several passengers regarded Michael as a hero for his actions. Michael was reunited with his family and gave his wife back her ring. Hawthorne talked to Michael and told him they had been keeping an eye on Murphy for a long time because of his connection to the murder, and he apologized to Michael that things had gotten this far. Hawthorne also said they missed having honest officers like Michael in their department who are genuinely committed to their duty. In the final scene, Michael goes back to the train and finds Joanna. At first, she acts like she doesn't recognize him, but Michael knows her plans have come to an end. When Joanna asks how he plans to wrap everything up, Michael just shows his badge, signaling that he's returned to duty as a detective. Thank you so much for staying till the end. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for future uploads.